This is outside of an ICE facility in Illinois. I'm not sure how far from Chicago, but you guys may have heard about it. The Broadview ICE facility. There are protests going on out there. This is the scene outside of it. I'm gonna run this short video 2 times straight, just so you guys really get an idea of what's happening.
There go your comrades. You're just like them? It's a question. There go your comrades. You're just like them? There go your comrades. You're just like them?
Were you able to see it closely enough? I ran it 3 times just in case. So there was a blue truck rolling out, apparently holding ICE agents as they go in and out of this ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois, or at least at the Broadview facility in Illinois. And there's a guy in the back seat, and boy, is he a tough guy. So as they slowly rolled by, surrounded by a bunch of other law enforcement folks to keep all those dangerous protesters away, there he is holding his huge ass rifle ready to point it at any of these dangerous protesters who have the nerve to say things like, get the fuck out of our city. Hey, Gestapo. Hey, you Nazi. You know, those horrible things that you can't say in America anymore. He's ready to, I don't know if that's a non-lethal weapon that shoots non-lethal rounds, or if he's ready to start murdering people. You know, the way that the president said that he wants the military to start, murdering people. So speaking of these non-lethal munitions that they're shooting at folks, this was from the back end of September. I think around the 27th or 28th of September, this was posted.
I'll be right back. I would have taken the shirt off. All right, who's got a new shirt? Jesus. Holy He's trying to shoot me. Look at you, David. At me. Get the front. Quit your job. Get the what you're doing is wrong. Fuck you. You're a fucking waste. You're a fucking waste.
Get out of here.
That's what's going on here. It's why also authoritarian regimes like to limit the amount of people that can be out there to record and spread the news on what's actually happening, because they'll, go on their, state-run channels and talk about how all these aggressive protesters are trying to hurt ICE agents. That's why they have to mask themselves as they stand on rooftops and shoot from a perspective where they can hit people any kind of way that they want. But the outrage apparently is supposed to go on the people who are pushing back on these illegal activities. There's a reason why these cowards are coming up and clumping in these groups, is because, one of the points that they had this next video, which is a little bit comical, but also serious at the same time. This one agent apparently was chasing a protester through people's houses. And as the war that they're bringing to this area increases, he chased a protester down through some houses, didn't catch him because, he's a sorry ass. And then afterwards hurt his leg somewhere good. And watch how his fellow agents walk him out in the way that they aggressively point their guns at these protesters and bystanders.
Put the taser away! Put your fucking taser away! Put the taser away! Put the fucking taser away! What are you pointing at them? Stop! Leave them alone. Their hands are up. Their hands are up. They're not doing anything. That's crazy. Stop pointing at people. Leave them the alone.
No one is aggressive at them. No one is holding any weapons. Hands are up. But as they rescued their boy who busted his leg because he can't run and walked him out, it's like they're coming out of a hostage situation. They got to point their tasers and what other weapons that they can at these folks who are doing nothing else, honestly, except being annoying. And that's what it takes to then start attacking folks. So let's start with where the problem is. The human rights violations that these guys are carrying out. And when folks come out, they walk around and start acting like they're in a war, because the president of the United States keeps talking about how we're in a war with American citizens. All this is outside of that same facility. Other agents came in. This post here talks about how this Greg Bovino guy leads a group of federal agents, including BOP, ATF, and HSI, out of the Broadview ICE facility to confer with Illinois State Police before pushing these protesters back. Just a scene of what's going on. I want you guys to really see it.
You son of a bitch! You're gonna burn in hell, you son of a bitch! You! Get the f*** out of our state, you fascist scum! You, Greg Bovino! You! Greg Bovino, you're gonna burn in hell, you fascist scum! We know all about what you've done to the people of our state! You! That's Greg Bovino right there!
There was even someone that was menacingly walking around there with a rainbow umbrella. I mean, once you see a rainbow umbrella, man, you really have to worry about yourself. Make sure you pull out your non-lethal munitions and get to shooting at people, because if you catch a sight of a rainbow umbrella, you just might die. What cowards. The scariest, weakest people in our country are the ones that grab their guns first and get to collecting around, putting on military gear, and talking about how they're going to start attacking citizens that are unarmed and are yelling through bullhorns. They're afraid of that. So imagine how afraid they'll be if we actually fight back. This is all a part of Donald Trump's white supremacist plan and his immigration policy. That's why it's been the very first thing he mentioned. Let's not forget, the guy rolled down the escalator in 2015 to start his presidential campaign. The very first thing he talked about was these dirty, filthy illegals that he called all drug dealers, rapists, and criminals.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
And that was the beginning of his message. Now that he's president for the second time, that is what he's carrying out. Here's this video from Barely Informed. It's pretty stark. And it shows what we're dealing with and how it's connected to their immigration policy.
We start with this guy. Remember him? This is Richard Spencer. He briefly became the most famous neo-Nazi in America after Trump's first election with this speech.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
This is when neo-Nazis were starting to rebrand as alt-right, but as you can see, they were still super mask off. If you don't know, Hail Victory is English for Sieg Heil. Anyway, listen closely to this part of the speech.
To be white is to be a striver, a crusader, an explorer, and a conqueror. We build, we produce, we go upward.
And that is a regular neo-Nazi talking point that you hear often these days, that white people build, create, invent things, that they're the source of civilization or whatever. Keep that in the back of your mind, but enough of Richard Spencer for now. Because this rotten, hard-boiled egg is Stephen Miller. And he's Trump's main immigration advisor, the architect of Trump's immigration policy. And even though he comes from a Jewish family, his own family members say that guy totally would have been an SS officer back in the day. Anyway, this is a section of his speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial.
Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity.
Anyone who knows anything about Nazi propaganda know that that was a Nazi speech. Not even a watered-down crypto-Nazi speech. That is a straight-up Nazi speech from the 1930s. And they feel comfortable doing this because they know that the killing of Charlie Kirk has given them a way to dismiss and invalidate comparisons to the Nazis.
Stephen Miller is the architect of his immigration policy. The immigration policy that has armed troops in the streets, who has collected and federalized local police, who has folks shooting non-lethal munitions at protesters for yelling with rainbow umbrellas in their hands. That guy. Because ever since, I guess, he was born from Satan's womb, the motherfucker only thinks about how he needs to advance his white supremacist message. That was a funeral, a going home celebration. And I guess it was something that they feel Charlie Kirk could have been proud of. You don't have to worry about anybody else talking about Charlie Kirk being a white supremacist. The white supremacists keep telling you that Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist. That's how they celebrated him. That's how they continue to try and push his legacy, is what they call it, on America. The things that Stephen Miller was talking about. That was a funeral. Who was the we that Stephen Miller's talking about? We build. We're better. We're the winners. Who's the we? Who's the we? They're waiting until enough people fully figure it out before they just say, white folks, the white supremacists among us. And what is it that they've built?